unprecedented, dire, an exodus. Taoiseach, these are some of the words used to describe the chronic teacher shortage, the result of new research showing 800 vacant primary teaching posts across the state. And the situation is set to worsen, with vacancies expected to hit 1,200 in the near future. A staggering 66% of these vacancies are in the Greater Dublin area, and the impact is being felt disproportionately in poorer communities, with nearly half of disadvantaged schools reporting vacancies in permanent posts. The price is being paid by vulnerable children going far too long without the important supports that they need. Many schools have been forced to redeploy special education teachers to mainstream classes. The seeds of this problem were sown by the austerity cuts inflicted on teachers by yourselves and Fianna Fáil over a decade ago. And now this latest research underscores that the ability of teachers to build a good life has been hit hard by the housing crisis. On the watch of your government, house prices remain sky high, while rip-off rents continue to soar. Take here in Dublin, where the teacher shortage is most particularly acute. This year, the average selling price of a typical semi-D hit more than €500,000. The average rent in Dublin tops €2,300 a month, off-the-wall stuff. And this grim situation is, of course, reflected across the country. Teachers can't afford to rent or buy a home near their work, so they're voting with their feet and moving abroad to take advantage of opportunities that they are denied at home. Thousands of teachers say the only way they can move out of their parents' home is to emigrate. And as Minister Foley took the stage at the INTO Congress last April, delegates held signs up, held them aloft, which read, "Teachers can't afford the rent." And others read, "Build affordable and social housing." But clearly your government didn't get the message. You continue to miss the inadequate targets you set for affordable and social housing. You refuse to ban extortionate rent hikes. You refuse to provide the level of investment needed to tackle the scale of this housing emergency. Your party, Fine Gael, has been in power for 12 years, backed to the hilt by Fianna Fáil for 7, and the housing crisis has gone from bad to worse. So change is now needed more than ever. Tonight, Sinn Féin brings before the Dáil our plan to fix the housing crisis by building genuinely affordable homes, cutting rents and banning rent increases. And I'm asking every deputy to back this motion and give a generation locked out of affordable housing the chance they deserve. Ní laan ach léirú ar an fhadhb an gantanas imneach múnseoirí seo ar géir céim tithíochta atá ag airí níos measa I rith an ama. Tá múnseoirí ag dul ar imachar mar nach bhfuil siad in ann teach ar phrais réasúnta a cheannach nó teach a chiasú gar dá obair. Caithfí an rialtas dul in lech leis an ngéir céim ar an buinte buise. Taoiseach, the dire shortage of teachers is down to a serious deterioration in the living standards of teachers, including, especially, their inability to put an affordable roof over their heads. So can you tell us, please, what action Minister Foley will take to address these teacher shortages, and will you tell us how government will address the housing needs of these teachers?
Thank you. Taoiseach,
thanks very much, Deputy, for raising this important issue. First of all, Government and the Minister for Education are very aware of shortages of teachers affecting many schools around the country, and we know that from time to time, too frequently, it means a special education teacher being assigned to a regular class, and that impacts negatively on the child with special education needs. So we understand that there is a very real issue here. It is important to see it against a backdrop in which the number of teaching posts has increased considerably. The pupil-teacher ratio, the staff-to-teacher ratio is as low as it's ever been, and the number of teachers registered with the Teaching Council, far from having gone down, has in fact gone up in recent years, and has to be seen in the context of a country that is now experiencing full employment, and that is a great thing, a job for everyone who wants one, but of course can have negative consequences too. And it's not that staff shortages are unique to education, far from it. Talk to any employer anywhere in the country, they will tell you how difficult it is to recruit and retain staff. It's public sector, it's private sector, it's big business, it's small business, it's well-paid jobs, it's poorly paid jobs. And I think we wouldn't properly understand the problems that we face if that isn't understood and isn't fully acknowledged. In terms of pay and conditions for public servants such as teachers, they are negotiated between unions and government. We have a pay deal. It was voted for by teachers in good numbers and was implemented and resulted in a pay rise most recently in October. Negotiations will begin in the next couple of weeks with public sector unions around the next round of pay increases, and I'm confident that we'll come to an agreement, and that will go to ballot of public servants, including teachers, as soon as an agreement can be made. When it comes to the housing situation, the housing shortage more generally, this is a government that is making real progress, Deputy. I know you will struggle to acknowledge it, but nobody can deny the facts that we're seeing on the ground. The new homes and apartments being built all over the country. Just look at the numbers. In the past 12 months, numbers suggesting 30,000 or more new homes being built. That is 50% more than when this government came to office, more than double when I became Taoiseach in 2017, 4 times the number being built than when my party came to office in 2011. You can only ramp up house building so quickly, unless you don't want to build houses properly. But if you want to build houses and apartments properly, you can only ramp it up so quickly. It's quadrupled since 2011, up 50% since this government came to office, and will go higher again next year. And what is particularly encouraging, Deputy, is to see a huge increase in the number of first-time buyers. Over 500 first-time buyers a week now drawing down their mortgage. And of course the real figure is much higher because we count couples as one when we look at those numbers. Haven't seen that in 16 years, Deputy. And my concern with your party is you want to roll the clock back on that. You want to take away the help that we're providing for first-time buyers, like those young teachers you mentioned. Most of them want to buy. They don't want to have to rent for too long. And you want to take that help away. You want to take away the first-time buyers grant. You want to take away First Home. You want to take away so much help that's out there now for first-time buyers. They will be worse off under Sinn Féin, and I think that's clear to anyone who looks at the facts.
Mary McDonald.
We don't want to do that at all, Taoiseach. What I would like you to do is for you to answer the question that I put to you. So we currently have 800 vacant posts in primary schools. That's set to hit 1,200. That's a problem. I think we can agree. The teaching union is telling us very directly that this is related to housing, to the fact that teachers cannot afford to rent or buy a home close to where they work. And I've asked you what you're going to do about that. Your views on Sinn Féin are a matter for yourself, but they're not addressing this question. The teachers don't care about that. They want to know what is going to happen to make it possible for a young teacher to take up these posts and ensure that children get the education that they need. And you have come back with zilch. And really, in the end, that's the problem with this whole housing debate. We're talking about teachers, we could talk about nurses, and we could talk about the whole economy, but we're talking about the teaching profession here. And when it comes right down to it, despite the evidence of failure, because everything that you've done there, that you've recited, it's half what's needed. So despite the evidence of failure, you can't seem to accept even that there is a problem, much less offer solutions. But let me put the question again. What are you going to do, and what will Minister Foley do on these shortages and to make homes available for these teachers?
Thanks, Deputy. To answer your question, 3 things. A new pay deal which we'll negotiate with teachers and public servants in the next few weeks. Building more than 30,000 new homes this year, not objecting to them in the way that your party and your reps do, and also increasing the rent credit to €750 a year per renter, 1,500 for a couple, more than that if there's more than 2 people sharing. But Ceann Comhairle, I wish to put on the record of the House that the Deputy, the Leader of Sinn Féin, misled the House. She said that she did not want to take away Help to Buy. She said she did not want to take away First Home. It is Sinn Féin policy to remove the help that this government is giving first-time buyers. She wants to make it harder for first-time buyers to buy their first home, and everybody needs to know that.
Thank you very much.